If I had to pick one makeup look that I would tell you need to learn today, it would 1000% be the Victoria's Secret Angel makeup. This is truly one of those makeup looks that will make you look amazing every single time, because let's be honest, who doesn't love a gorgeous glowy base, glittery sparkly eye makeup that truly makes your eyes stand out, and a muted lip to really finish off the look. I feel like every single Victoria's Secret Angel looks absolutely stunning, and not just because they're models, but the makeup really intensifies that beauty, and I truly believe this works on everyone. Makeup is already there to enhance, but the Victoria's Secret Angel makeup takes that enhancement and times it by 100, okay? And today I recreated the iconic angel makeup, but I don't gatekeep around here, and I'm gonna make sure you guys can do it too. So if you want to look like a VS Angel too, don't worry, I'm gonna show you. Let's get right into the video. Alright, the robe is on, the hair is pinned, and the drink is cracked. Today my energy drink of choice is the Alani Cherry Bomb. I'm not gonna lie, I've been taking iron pills and I don't really feel like I need the energy, but this does taste really good. So to successfully achieve the Victoria's Secret makeup look, you must first go on Pinterest and find your inspo, because I was supposed to do this before. We're just gonna look at it as we go. There is a lot of inspo there. This is not my first time doing a Victoria's Secret Angel makeup look, which is probably why I'm not so prepared and planned out, because I kind of know what I'm doing. And I did see Adriana Lima wearing a red robe, which is why I got a red robe on today, and I don't have a pink one, and I wasn't gonna buy a new one, so we're wearing red, okay? This is the inspo bit. Anyways, we're gonna start off with some skin prep, and if you didn't know, Charlotte Tilbury actually did a lot of the Victoria's Secret Angel glam, so if you see me using a lot of Charlotte Tilbury, that's why, because she has done some gorgeous angel glam. I'm gonna start off my skin prep with the Magic Cream. I feel like this leaves my skin looking very, very glowy. While that sits on the skin, we're gonna do our brows. One thing that I notice with every single look is that the eyebrows always look very natural, tidy, but natural, okay? That's what we're gonna try to do. So step number one is brushing the brows and make them look neat and tidy. And then I'm gonna use this NYX Cosmetics brow tint pen. I like using this one because you could really draw natural eyebrow hairs with this. And wherever I have some sparse gaps in my eyebrows, I'm just gonna draw some eyebrow hairs. I'm very gentle when using this because it really does look like a hair. So you don't need to go hard, because otherwise it's just gonna look too intense. And as you're doing this, just keep brushing your hair to really disperse that product and make sure you're not adding too much, okay? This thing is too much when it comes to eyebrows. Doing the exact same thing to the other side. And once you're happy with how they look, you can gel it, but just make sure you're not pressing down. You don't want the gel to be noticeable. You don't want them to be gelled down. You're just gelling it into place so that they're not going in different directions, especially if you have longer hair like me. A couple swipes should be enough. Now the base, I do want to be glowy. I am going to be setting with powder later on, but not everything, so you still want some of that shine to come through. I'm gonna first begin by using my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I feel like this does an amazing job at covering up like a little bit of the blemishes, and at the same time giving you a gorgeous glow that sits really nicely with your foundation. And I typically just blend this out with a beauty blender. And this will leave you with a gorgeous glow before you even go in with any foundation. Exactly what you want. Sometimes I literally just wear this and like some concealer and I call it a day, and my skin gets so many compliments. I really don't know what they're putting in the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, but you could give me a bucket of this and it will be gone. I mean, just look at this bottle. Over the top of this, you can go ahead and go in with some foundation. My foundation of choice today is going to be the Armani Luminous Silk one. Whenever I want my skin to look good, this is one that I can always trust. It's buildable, it's glowy, everything you would want for a VS Angel makeup look. The way I prefer to apply foundation isn't directly on my face. Instead, it's so much better to just put it on the back of your hand and then warm it up with your finger, because a warm foundation always blends out so much better. And begin dotting it and blending it out little by little so that you get not too much coverage, not too little coverage. You have a lot of control. That's what you want, control. Also avoid blending the foundation where your under eyes are, because that's where the concealer is going to go and you don't want it to be too heavy. Now I'm actually going to be testing out a new product today. I have never tried these. They just came out with this. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter Blur Concealers. These are supposed to be weightless and full coverage, so I'm going to use this for my under eyes and see how it goes. I have the shade 4 here. I'm not going to lie, for my under eyes I do want something a little bit lighter, so I don't know if this is going to be the right shade. If it's not, I'll just add a lighter shade on top. We'll see. These are super creamy, I must say, and I feel like the shade specifically is like not too light, not too dark. It still kind of brightens my under eye, but not to the point where it looks too fake. I feel like this would photograph really well. I'm blending this out with the same beauty blender and blending over the top of my eye as well, just to even out the whole eye area. And now I'm actually going to use some of that same shade to brighten up the forehead as well. Then with the shade 5.5, which is actually closest to my skin tone, I'm going to add this on any other areas where I want a little bit more coverage, whether that be a blemish or just want to smooth things over a little bit more. That's the shade I'm using. You want to use something that's as close to your skin tone as possible. I personally feel like when it comes to your foundation, concealer, a beauty blender works best. I feel like so far these products have left me with a gorgeous, flawless base. So if you're looking for some base product recommendations, those are the ones you need to try, because this looks unreal. Now for our contour, we have another Charlotte Tilbury product. I actually haven't used this in a while. I typically use the Westman Atelier one, but seeming as we're using a lot of Charlotte Tilbury today, why not? With this, I'm gonna follow the same method as I did with my foundation, applying this to the hand like so, and once again using the same beauty blender. Okay, I'm gonna pick that product up. I'm picking some up and then just kind of like patting it off on a different section of the hand, and then I'm just gonna slowly begin building that up on the face. I feel like if you want your contour to really just blend into your face, this is the technique right here. Especially because I hear a lot of people say like, oh, the Charlotte Tilbury contours are so hard to like deal with, they kind of go all over the place. That's why I say don't apply it to your face directly, especially something that's like as liquidy as this. So it's like you're just asking for a disaster. When it comes to cream contours, they're a little bit easier to deal with because you have better control of the product, but when it's something so liquidy, like no, do not put this directly on your face. When applying it on your cheeks, look directly in the mirror, and do you see where there's like already like a natural line? Just basically intensify that, and instead of bringing it all the way down, bring it up a little bit, like around here, because you don't want it to drag your face down. Okay, you want it to lift. Not forgetting the jaw as well, because you want to look snatched. Okay, so if you're like me and you don't have the strongest jaw, make one. There is nothing makeup can't do. And then with a tiny little bit of product and a tiny little brush, we're gonna pick some up and contour our nose with it. Not going too crazy on the nose, you just want a slight shadow, make it a little bit skinnier, you know. I typically just like add it like alongside, blending that down the nose, and then a little bit on the tip as well. And then just with my finger, I like to tap it out to like make it look really natural, you know, almost like it looks like this all the time. Like you basically don't want it to be noticeable. Like imagine if Hiiii Angels had like super noticeable contour and all of this, like it will look terrible on photos, you know. You don't want that, especially with all the bright lights and everything. This has to look blended in, natural, like it's your natural features. Now for blush, I'm actually going to be using one that I've been really loving recently. This is the Tier Mood Glider lip and blush stick. You can use this on the lips, use it as blush, use it on your eyes. They're like multifunctional, which is really fun, and the shades are amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go in with shade 01, which is this kind of muted soft pink shade, and I love using these specifically because they leave a really nice glow on the skin. So I'm gonna apply this right above that contour toward the temple, and use a packed brush like this to just blend it up. And I do really like the glow that this leaves. It's very reflective, and it honestly gives Victoria's Secret Angel, in my opinion, especially the shade 2. And if you are watching this in February, then you can save 10% on any tier products using my code, which I will leave on the screen, and you can use this for literally any of their products. I personally very highly recommend the blushes and also the highlighters. They are amazing. You're gonna see me using them later on because they genuinely leave your skin looking insane. I'm also going over the blush with a beauty blender just to like again really mix everything together to make it look natural and blend it out so that it's not just like sitting on my skin, but instead it looks like it's a part of me. You know what I mean? That's what you want when it comes to makeup. In general, I feel like once it looks like your skin but better, that's how you know you're doing a good job. Now to set everything, I am gonna go in with a limited edition palette, which I know it kind of sucks, but I cannot not use this because this is that good. There are still some places that I see selling this, so if you can get your hands on one, I would highly recommend, because this has, as you can tell, pretty much everything you might need. They have a setting powder, bronzer, cheek blush. This is a highlighter and a blush. I'm not going to use a highlighter because I have one I already want to use. But to set the cheeks, this might be the perfect shade. Although I don't think I want to set the cheeks either because I want to keep that glow. But I'm definitely going to be using the bronzer and the powder here. So on a little triangular sponge, I'm going to pick up this super light shade. And this is also so light that it's going to brighten our under eyes too. And I'm just going to start patting that in to really set that concealer. And I'm going to bring this down and around my mouth. And I'm using another beauty blender to just make sure that there's no crease where the concealer is, because I have really deep under eye creases that are always going to crease no matter what I use. So I just like to tap that out, and whilst I'm still looking up, apply that powder. And you can also apply that lighter powder to really set the eyes as well, because as you can tell, that creased too. And we do not want any creases anywhere. We want to look picture perfect, photo shoot, runway ready. That's the goal. But you see how that powder just like brightened everything completely? This is a good palette. This is honestly like a palette that I always come back to, and the fact that this is a limited edition kind of pisses me off, because like, why would you make something so good limited? I don't know. Charlotte Tilbury, if you're watching this, you're probably not, but if you are, please bring this back. It's so good. And now with a cheek brush from Jane Iredale, I'm gonna go into this bronzing shade, lightly tapping that on, tapping off any excess because you don't want too much. And I'm gonna begin tapping that where that contour was. Tapping, not swiping, because I want a little bit more control. We're just trying to intensify and set that cream contour to make sure it doesn't move anywhere and we look even more snatched. And without picking up more product, I'm just gonna add someone that knows as well. And now that I like how it looks, this is where we add the final finishing touch to the cheek, which is a very important step, by the way, arguably the most important. And just in case you might be wondering, does she really like the product? Here's your answer. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. I don't know how this happened. I'm very upset by it, but does that mean I'm gonna stop using it and go into one of the other 100 highlighters that I have? No. She's gonna be used. I'm gonna pick that product up on a brush. I'm gonna mix the two and just look at that immediate, insane, might I add, glow that this gives. You cannot drive at night wearing this, okay, because you might cause some crashes, because that's how bright this is. Immediately gives that Victoria's Secret angel kind of like glow glam. I like really don't know why. I feel like since we were all like traumatized by 2016 makeup, I'm not seeing people use powder highlighters as much. Like, you know, everything's like all this like natural glow. Why? Powdered highlighters are literally it, like for me. Like, I don't know why I ever stopped. Like this is literally gorgeous, beautiful, amazing. I don't know. And now another secret to getting that gorgeous glass skin kind of look to your makeup, your setting spray. That's very important, and this tier one will literally give you glass skin, and it's also going to make your makeup last. It will not budge. Okay, let me show you. This is the before, this is the during, and this is the after. The makeup is literally reflecting where I didn't even put any highlighter. Obviously, if you want a little bit less reflection, you can always just add a little bit more powder, but I personally love it like this. I love how my makeup is glossy, giving like kind of glass skin effect. It makes it look healthy. The only places I don't really want shine is like the T-zone, and I feel like there's nothing really there apart from my cheeks, which gives it a nice little healthy glow. So I think when it comes to the base, I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna leave it at that. Now we can move on to the eyes. I think this YSL mini clutch palette, like these shades are perfect in my opinion. I feel like this is literally what most of the eyeshadows that they use in the VS Angels shows kind of look like. You know, it's like the brown, it's kind of like the blended out brown on the outer corner, super glittery in the inner corner, you know. So to begin, by the way, this palette is the 730 palette. I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade right here, and I'm gonna basically just begin blending that out across the eye and then almost outward, not rounding it out, just bringing it out, I guess you could say. If it falls below the crease, it's okay. I'm using like a big fluffy brush to just really get that nice color all around. Doing the same thing on the other side, of course. Once that's blended out, I'm gonna go in with this darker shade right here and begin packing that on the outer corner of the eye. You don't have to be too precise with this, just pack some on with slight tapping motions. And then with that same brush that we were using before, I'm just gonna begin blending the two together. You can add a slight amount of that lighter shadow to really just help with the blending. But I must say, these YSL clutch eyeshadows are really blendable. They're like not patchy at all. And I'm kind of just blending that back into the eye and then also outward to kind of get that lifted effect. So you should be left with this kind of pretty mauve eyeshadow shade. This is, like I said, super easy, and I think the eyeshadows really help because, like I said, I feel like I'm barely doing any work and they're just blending together. And I'm actually gonna go back to the Charlotte Tilbury palette, and with that super light powder shade, I'm gonna pick some up and I'm just gonna really focus that in the inner corner. I want that inner corner to look super bright because I want that to be like the center of attention when it comes to the eye, and it's also gonna look really nice when we add glitter over the top. Don't be afraid to go heavy here because that's how the product product is gonna really show up. Adding a little bit is just, you're like basically setting the eye, but stacking it, you're really gonna get that light shade to kind of come through. Do you see that immediate difference? This eye looks a little bit more opened up. And then with the same brush, going back to the YSL palette, I'm gonna pick up the lightest glittery shade and kind of just pack that on and begin adding that to the inner corner as well. But I am gonna drag this out towards like the middle of the eye to really get that glitter effect. And you can even go back in with that tier highlighter, because you can use this on the eyes as well, and just add a little bit more of that to intensify that glow. You can add this on the brow bone as well, so that when the light reflects, everything is nice and shiny. And to make the whole eyeshadow look more cohesive, I'm actually gonna grab some of that darker shade on a small little brush and add that underneath, connecting that to the rest of the shadow. Okay, now with a gel pencil liner, I'm gonna line the top waterline all the way across. And the trick to doing this is making sure that your eyes are in the opposite direction. I have super sensitive eyes, so I typically tear up, which is normal. You just have to keep switching direction. If you put your mirror below you, it's much easier to add this to your waterline. Then on the corner of your eye, you can begin adding some eyeliner there. You don't want to go all the way across over the top, just because that's going to be a little bit too intense. Just add it on that corner, flicking it out ever so slightly. And then with an angled brush, you can begin just giving yourself that eyeliner flick. So actually the eyeliner that I'm using dries down super fast, so I am gonna add some on the brush because it doesn't seem to want to be moving, and then just begin doing the same thing. Then once you're happy with how the eyeliner looks, you can go ahead and just curl the lashes. Then go in with a good volumizing mascara. One of my personal favorites is the YSL one. I feel like as someone who doesn't have long, luscious lashes, this really gives you lashes. It can clump sometimes, but I personally don't mind. I feel like sometimes that just gives that more voluminous effect. And it's really good if you want that more intense eyelash look. Like, I will always reach for this mascara. Now I am going to add some lashes to finish off the eye look, but I'm not going to add a full lash. I'm actually just going to add some individuals. These are from Emboss Beauty, and I'm using the Luxury Cluster Lashes, lengths 10, 12, and 14 millimeters. I'm going to begin with the longest length, the 14 millimeters, add some glue on that, and I'm going to stick that above, not under. I feel like whenever you do under, that's just making your eyes go droopy unless you have like a really high, nice almond shape. But because I have rounder eyes, I'm going to stick it above, and this is just going to give our eyes a lift. Next to that, I'm going to stick a medium-sized one, and adding just 2 lashes there, I feel like has already made such a difference to the eye. And now with the third one, I'm actually going to apply the shortest one, and I'm going to apply that shortest one underneath the lash just to really give it that nice blend. And I mean, the difference is insane. I'm just going to do the exact same thing on the other eye now. So that's long and medium over the top, and then the small underneath the lash. And tell me this didn't just absolutely completely improve, change the whole eye makeup. I feel like lashes are so important because this truly just made it glam, you know, that VS Angel kind of glam. And you can say whatever you want, but to this day I will fight at the fact that the lashes are what make an eye makeup glam, because this has just completely changed the eye makeup in my opinion. So if you ever feel like your makeup isn't makeuping, just add a couple clusters and I'm telling you, it will just change the whole thing. And now for the lip combo, this is actually a lip combo that I've been doing all the time, but it does give very much Victoria's Secret Angel lip combo. I'm gonna begin with a Wonderskin lip liner in the shade Nutmeg, and I'm gonna use this to overline slightly. You want a very pouty look. Then I'm gonna go in with the Lawless lipstick. This is in the shade Platinum, and I'm gonna lightly dab that in the center of the lip. And then over the top of that, I'm gonna go in with this Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is in the shade Gummy Bear. And I literally cannot get over this lip combo. I'm in love, and I feel like this matches the eyeshadow to a perfection. And I'm pretty happy with the makeup, the glam at this point. Let me go take out the hair and I will be right back. Okay, and the hair is down, it's out. And I feel like this is what truly makes the makeup look. This is kind of like a pretty messy blowout because I did do it in different directions, so the hair isn't like sitting how I typically would want it to, because it's supposed to give you more volume, but I actually kind of like it how my hair sometimes sits together as opposed to the curls being crazy and all over the place. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Do we like the kind of messy hair? I feel like this is what kind of gives it that bedhead kind of hair, which is what Victoria's Secret models often say, that the blowouts are supposed to be that kind of bedhead vibe, and I feel like this truly gives it. I came up a little bit so you guys can see everything a little more, but yeah, I'm actually obsessed with how this makeup came out. It's super glowy, flawless. The eyes are definitely giving Victoria's Secret Angel. The hair, the robe, I don't know. I'm so happy I decided to do this. I feel like I needed to do a full makeup moment. I haven't done one in a while, especially on my YouTube channel. And this is exactly what I needed to feel like I'm right back in the game. The skin right now is also so glowy. I like cannot stop staring at it. Everything I used really is sitting so nicely together. I don't think I've ever done this specific combination. It's nothing crazy. I mean, I did try out the new concealer, which by the way I'm so obsessed with because the way that it's sitting, it's gorgeous, and combined with the powder, it's not creasing, which I love to see. So yeah, overall I'm just in love with how everything turned out. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them, and I'm also very curious where everyone is watching from. So if you got to the end of the video, comment below what country are you watching from. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.